Hi, I'm John Bukhar, CEO of Tesseract Ventures. I'd love to take you back in the lab in our offices to tell you a little bit of history behind the company. Let's go. KC needs a new narrative in technology and the development of artificial intelligence and robotics, and that's why I'm here. So I'm a returning entrepreneur to Kansas City. I spent most of my career away, but I returned to start Tesseract Ventures. My wife told me, you need to go to this marketing symposium to integrate into the entrepreneurial community here in KC. And when I attended that marketing symposium, I met a very influential person that was on the board of directors of this incubator in Kansas City that I worked at in my early 20s. But he convinced me to start this very special company and have it right in the middle of Kansas City. And so we started the business towards the end of 2018. And we have a unique footprint. We're located in Kansas City. We have offices in Chicago, Arkansas, California. We got a guy in Bangkok, Thailand. We have a very unique reach worldwide, and we use our own tools and technology to collaborate and communicate. Tesseract is made up of 4 different studios. We have experiential entertainment, we have cyber physical, we have future lab, and we have one more called human things. They all intersect with each other and feed on each other. Experiential entertainment is where we can license our intellectual property and patents and designs, and a very whimsical place. We have people that can write stories, that can draw and doodle in 2D and in 3D. People that can create prototypes and mechanisms and a piece of hardware or a toy. Sometimes it's a toy, sometimes it's a unique piece of software that can run on a phone or on a computer or in the cloud. And so an example of a product that has been executed through our first studio, Experiential Entertainment, is a concept like Nanables. There's 16 SKUs in retail now, but Nanables is a very special product and was invented by 2 people, myself and another fellow named David Voss. And we talked about how the toy business has changed a bit from a physical toy that you play with to apps on a computer or a phone, and we thought about, well, how could we integrate something new and fresh in the toy business? And instead of a character, we create environments, and we put an optic in here so we could kind of peek into the experience. Like when you look inside, there's all kinds of things occurring. The content play was the key for Nanables because we wanted to create a piece of software that would allow you to digitally peek inside the unit and activate all kinds of AR or alternate reality experiences. And so we did that. We didn't manufacture it, we invented it and licensed the rights to manufacture, market, and sell it. And that was through our EE studio. The second studio we have is called Cyber Physical. This studio very specifically focuses on advanced robots for military, for construction, for medical, and for agriculture. And we're solving very complicated problems in this cyber physical studio. It's extremely well funded, and we work at the very top of those vertical markets. We invent all of our crazy ideas in the advanced R&D studio called Future Lab. In that studio we have mechanical, electrical, software engineers, we have strategists, we have lawyers and marketing minds, like super creative people. And then we have one more called Human Things, which is coming soon at the beginning of the first quarter in 2021. I have to hire very selectively in many different types of positions where the entire group of people function as an elite unit. To work at Tesseract, you have to be creative, be able to explain complicated things really simply. You have to be able to manifest your ideas and articulate them to multiple people, engineers, creatives, C-level, investors, and the like. You don't need any certain credentials, but you have to prove your track record. For instance, if you're a mechanical engineer, I want to see solutions in the past that you've invented from nothing. I do look for loyalty and camaraderie and honesty all the time. It's a very special place here where we encourage creativity. We encourage geeks, nerds, dweebs, engineers, wanderers, inventors. They're all here at the business. The future is bright. I see the business continuing to hire the best and brightest individuals, the most creative, the most unique. I see Tesseract as a big part of Kansas City.
Hi, John. Would you like a beer?
Beer? I would. We'll go with the IPA, the easy way.
Hi, I'm Dave Starr, Vice President of Research and Development here at Tesseract, and I run the Future Lab group. We're the group here at Tesseract that invents technology and brings it to the rest of the team to take to market. So we're a group of engineers, designers, electrical engineers, software developers that work together and collaborate to create all the technology that Tesseract brings to life for our customers. Doing everything from hardware to electrical engineering, kind of all at the same time in concert, allows us to develop things, test them out, break them, and then re-prototype them again, and work very, very quickly to bring new things to market. Now let's go see Future Lab in action.
My name is Greg Lorette. I do a lot of prototyping here. I do a little bit of our design work because that's in my background. I'm our engineer and I don't have an engineering degree. My degree is a creative product design degree, but thanks to technology and the way the industry has changed, I've been able to flip over to that role and I interface directly with our manufacturers. I can build a part today, throw it on the printer, and with a few hours or maybe overnight, I've got a piece in my hands, we can evaluate it, we can make the change in the computer and print a new one until we're happy. And it used to be you'd have to send it off, the manufacturer would mess with it, and then they'd send you a prototype. It would take a lot of time and a lot of money. We can get to that point in a month. I mean, sometimes depending on what it is and where we're at with it. But it's a remarkable technology. These two white ones, they build out of plastic. They just melt it down and extrude it one layer at a time and build this really cool part. The two orange ones over there are a little newer. It's kind of reverse. It's this wacky resin that it sits in the resin and the laser hardens it and it pulls it up a little one layer at a time. So it builds these really, really high definition parts. We get to the point where we're happy and then we can go straight to manufacturing. And this is a first shot out of the tooling. They're identical. I mean, they're exactly the same, other than of course this is made out of the correct material, but it just allows us to move with a speed that I would have never even imagined when I was in college. Through middle school, I didn't really know where I was going. In high school, I wanted to be a pilot. So I was talking to the military, thinking about going to fly out of school. I hurt my shoulder really bad and I couldn't pass the physical and I felt very lost. This wonderful teacher called me in his office one day. He saw that I had a creative side, but also had a very specific technical side, and that's been my whole life. I can take anything apart. I know what it looks like on the inside. His spatial skills come very naturally to me. So he kind of saw that and he hands me a pamphlet and he says, "You were made to do this. You should look at this." And it was the industrial design program at University of Kansas. Looked it over and that day I decided, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. So right out of high school, went straight to KU, started studying there. It's very interesting as you develop, you learn more about yourself. And for me, ADHD, like a lot of times it's portrayed as a disadvantage. I just read a book by Peter Shankman, Faster Than Normal, and he talks about how it actually can be a tremendous advantage. Your brain operates very quickly, but also in different ways, because this jumping and skipping around is actually critical in the creative process, because you entertain things and you will consider things that most people won't. This is the best place I've ever been for that, because we have all these people, they're all different. They give us the tools we need, they give us the space, and they allow us to just do what we do without telling us how to do it. It's cool because I've found a place here at Tesseract, and Tesseract really just welcomes the people that think differently and do differently. We're a non-traditional place. We want people who are useful and who can do things in a lot of different things in a lot of different ways. So we really welcome those people who, like me, who can't sit still or even stand still for more than 5 minutes. And at Tesseract, we can harness that energy, we can direct it, and as you can see, I mean, we create awesome things because of it.
My name is Spencer Cook. I'm an industrial designer here at Tesseract Ventures. I'm actually an entry-level industrial designer. I graduated in May from KU, their industrial design program. I'm really enjoying my time here, learning a lot, and it's been a good experience so far. Being a designer, especially an entry-level designer, a lot of times you have to wear a lot of different hats as you go about your day. I'm building prototypes, I'm doing 3D modeling, I'm sketching, taking pictures, being an actor in videos that we do. I really enjoy the breadth of things that I get to do here. It's one of the reasons that I enjoy working here so much. So Tesseract actually found me. The Center for Design Research at KU, as well as the design school, exposed me to that industry, and it gave me a lot of opportunities to kind of build my professional skills as well as my design skills. But to work here at Tesseract, you need to be flexible. You need to be able to do a lot of different things. You need to be able to get those things done quickly and effectively. Take into consideration any issues down the road or anything that you might face and try to foresee those types of things so that you can essentially achieve a successful end result quickly and efficiently. And then also, we have a lot of complex projects that we work on, so being able to communicate those things here internally, then also to our investors and the people that we work with and the people that we collaborate with outside of Tesseract. It's a huge thing to me. It's also a huge thing to John and the people above me. So recently we've been venturing out into the agriculture space with our technology. The last couple summers while I was in school, I was working on a farm up in North Dakota. That allowed me to take that background and then apply it to various agriculture projects that we're working on. And you're using your hands a lot. A farm has a shop and a shop has tools in it. In terms of working here at Tesseract, building prototypes that function is a big thing. And so just knowing your way around a shop and knowing how to use tools effectively, I've been able to apply here. It allowed me to be able to see how very complex things come together, down to the nuts and bolts, and then also those simpler things. But you can bring that into your career, especially in industrial design, because understanding just in general how an object comes together, how a product, big or small, comes together, regardless of how complex it is definitely a beneficial thing. So artificial intelligence, essentially you're giving a machine, hence a computer or a processor, the ability to think cognitively in a way that most people would consider human ways of thinking. So problem solving, things of that nature, basically giving the input to a machine to allow it to do that on its own is essentially what AI does. And then it can actually, with machine learning, can take those inputs and begin to learn itself and give its own inputs. That helps humans process and consume analytics and then use them within their business to do whatever tasks that may apply to.
Hi. Now that you've had a chance to meet some of the folks in Future Lab, let me show you one of the things that we've invented. One of the things we've been working on here at Future Lab is called Prism. And it's a system of technology that allows us to locate people and things in space. So part of it is this little badge I'm wearing here, which looks like an ID badge. But inside there's a sophisticated piece of electronics that works with this guy that's a Prism anchor, which we also created here, that allows it to see these badges in 3D space. So I can see where it is, how high it is, I can identify which direction it's going. I can even send a little SOS through the badge and pick it up and find it. So it's just an example of some of the technology that we create here. Now you're going to hear from Jason Harrell, who's our VP of Innovation, who creates all of the technology that goes inside the little badge.
I'm Jason Harrell. I'm the VP of Innovation here at Tesseract. Well, behind me is the engineering lab, and that is where we do everything. And there are things back there that we can't show you. Primarily that's because they're still proprietary, which means that we don't have issued patents on them, which means we have to protect the intellectual property. So we've got designs, electronics, software, components, things like that, to where if someone else were to see them, they could manufacture competing products or get an idea of some of the things that we're currently working on. The culture is great, I think. I think we've done a really good job of bringing folks in, making sure that everybody gets along. Cultural fit is definitely one of the things that are more important than how thick your resume is or how many different places you've worked. It's whether or not you can get along with others and still be a contributing factor. We try to keep up with John as much as we can, which, That involves a lot of different verticals. Like in the morning we'll work on toys, and in the evening we're working on military stuff. So a really wide range. So if we're working on a wheeled robot, one of the processes is if you're pulling something or not. Are you standing straight up? Or are you needing to pull? So you have to figure out how much weight it is. Am I on an incline? Am I on a flat surface? Am I on a decline? So if I'm going downhill, I need to lean back a little bit. If I'm going uphill, I need to lean forward. If I'm on a flat surface, I need to stay perpendicular, so I'm straight up and down. And then it's just a matter of how heavy is the weight behind me? How much power do I put into the wheels? How hard do I pull? I think we all start out with like, hey, I had this crazy idea. And then we whiteboard it out and see if it's got legs. Our test robot you've seen floating around here. So, hey, can we make it pull something? What would it pull? What else could we do with it? Can we put sensors on the back? Could it drive around an office and take photos or inspect certain things? Or could it launch a drone from the back of it? You really kind of start with a base idea of, does it function, does it work? And then you just build on top of that to see how much more feature-wise you can add. Toys are a little more simple than some of the other robots. So it's first they figure out the play pattern, then they figure out what lights need to come on, what sensors need to activate, and small but short pieces of software to make those things happen. What's there not to like about working at Tesseract? I mean, think about it. You work on everything from a toy to a robot that works for the military. We've got drones, we've got location sensors, we've got big data, AI, programming, hardware, software. I think anyone who likes technology would definitely love working here.
So you want to see AI in action, see how everything works? We built a special robot. It's an environment. We call it the Tesseract. We can import all kinds of information and visualize it. Come see. We're inside the Tesseract, a special robotic AI-enabled environment. And it's kind of an interesting place. We sat to develop this room. It took a couple of years, careful thought, lots of inventing and prototyping. The room is designed as a location to have confidential conversations with the best tool set. So we've designed it to be configurable in many different types of spaces. At the center of the room, we have what we call the tech table. Huge screen on the top, it's all touch sensitive. It interfaces with AR headsets and VR headsets, wireless charging antennas in both sides of the table, and RFID readers on each strip. Remember our Prism badge? When we walk into the Tesseract, we can auto-launch very specific shared documents all in one location. The room has touch-sensitive panels, so if we wanted to look at things in much bigger, we've got 80 points of touch on each panel. We also have a color ribbon that exists on the edge of the Tesseract, and that is for very specific color change. So if we're on a call and maybe the person is lying, the software can determine intent, and it's like a visual alert of something happening. Imagine the Tesseract as the hub of all kinds of information being piped into the room. All that data being peeled off robots, location and identity and workflow, all that data can be pulled into one repository, and our software we call Mosaic is able to intake all that information, organize it, and then view it. And it's not a dashboard. The Tesseract is a spatial environment. So we can see all kinds of different data in one location across 6 to 8 screens. And so think of this like a command center where AI serves up the best information for a human to make a decision. And we need to be able to see the information at one time to make a decision. And that's the AI piece of it. The AI intakes the information, organizes it, and then the Tesseract environment is able to visualize data and make critical and important decisions on that data.
My name is Chung Liang. I am an industrial designer for Studio One, and I've worked at Tesseract for just over a year. John and I met when we worked on a project called Nanables. He came up with this idea and brought it to the team I was working with at the time. So I was in charge of coming up with some design styling and the look and the feel of the Nanables universe. Through the development, drawing hundreds of sketches, we came up with a design style that everybody agreed with and liked. and we move forward. And that's kind of how the beginning of Nanables started, and also the beginning of the relationship between John and I. What's wonderful about my job is that as being an industrial designer, you could be doing any manner of things at any given day. Because of the process, there's so much involved in coming up with a toy and bringing it into life. So one day it could be the ideation phase, where we're on the whiteboard and we're just throwing out ideas left and right of what something could be, drawing up quick sketches, just putting pen to paper and just realizing what could be. And then when we get excited about an idea, making a 3D model digitally. And that's where the 3D printer comes in handy. The 3D printer is an awesome tool because it allows me to take whatever idea that I have on 3D and print it out within a day in most cases, just to see what it feels like in your hand. And then you realize, oh, maybe this is working and maybe this isn't. And then you can go back to the drawing board and adjust your design so that it is better. And then you can print it out again. And that process could be done day to day, as opposed to in the past, it would take weeks to do something like that. It's just an amazing experience to be able to be in all parts of the aspect of design. And for me, toys, just being a personal passion of mine, makes it that much more enjoyable.
So today we talked about all kinds of things. How to start an AI and robotics company. The makeup of our studios between experiential entertainment and future lab and cyber physical. We talked about the type of team that it takes to build something like this. Engineering and creatives and strategists and even me, the CEO. So at the end of the discussion here, I'll leave you with one key point, and we put it right in the lobby. We have this phrase that we use that we say at Tesseract, there is nothing more human than technology. It takes humans to invent the tech and deploy. It takes careful thought and engineering to deploy our tech. And so we always say that at the very end. So thank you for joining us here at Tesseract. We look forward to meeting you someday. Maybe we'll hire you. Talk to you later.